And time to focus in on road running. The Totalsports Two Oceans Marathon has been re-awarded its IAU Gold Label status, and it takes place this weekend outside of its traditional Easter date. The 56-kilometer ultra takes place tomorrow, while the 21-kilometer race takes place on Sunday. It's a continued rebirth of the race following the COVID-19 hiatus in 2020 and 2021. To speak more about this, race manager Hilton Kearns joins me. A very good morning and welcome to Newzroom Afrika. Good to be chatting to you. Can you just explain why we are no longer running on Easter in the Mother City?
Good morning to you and to your viewers. Traditionally the event was on the Easter weekend, but with our race growing, we needed 2 days for it. And 2 days on the Easter weekend is a bit of a stretch when it comes to the resources of the city and many of our stakeholders and the suppliers we make use of, and hence the move to take it off the Easter weekend.
And you've also split the two races. This is something that was done even last year, but you guys started with the 21 and then you had the 56 on the Sunday. This year it's switched around. Why that?
Well, I take it also from a city point of view. It works better to do it, or the way we've been doing it with the 56 on the Saturday this time around, and the 21 on the Sunday. I think also, we're changing a lot of things with regard to the event, and sometimes you want to just appease the traditionalists and keep the original event, which is the ultra, on the Saturday. And take our added event to the Sunday.
Can you tell us about some of those other changes?
Well, one of the big changes that came about last year had to do with the batch starts, where we don't have a mass start anymore. So we've got batches of 1,000 runners that get set off at 2-minute intervals. So we've got the ultra, which starts at 5:10 on Saturday morning, and our last batch would then leave about 25 to 6. We've got the half marathon on Sunday, where you'd have the first batch leaving at 6:30 and the last batch leaving at about 7. And so that is one of the major changes that we've brought about. The route is the same as what it was for 2022, with no changes with regard to that.
What about the other events that people have come to expect around the Two Oceans? It was always a massive family affair. There was some trail running that was involved, a nappy dash. And have those come back? Are they going to come back?
For this year, unfortunately, we won't be hosting the trail and the fun runs, as you mentioned. And those fun runs are normally an important part of the event, and they add a lot to the vibe and the geest that we have at the event. With us moving on to what we call a normal weekend, it did place some constraints on us, and hence this year we're focusing on the ultra and the half marathon. But yes, those events are key events and core events in the bouquet that we offer as Two Oceans, and we in going forward 2024 we're hoping to bring it back. Yes.
The race has undergone a lot of changes and it's still enjoying a bit of a rebirth, not only because of COVID, but there's been a whole structural change. Are you guys happy with where you're currently at and where the race is going?
Yes, I think we are happy with where it's at. I mean, taking it off the Easter weekend had its challenges, and also it's not on its traditional weekend, and initially we thought it would impact our numbers. But I can say that the runners have turned up in their numbers. I mean, we have 16,000 starters for the half marathon on Sunday. We've got 11,500 starters for the ultra marathon tomorrow. So, we may have changed the weekend and the date of the event, but the runners want to run this event. I think it's an iconic event. It highlights Cape Town. And there's so much beauty to see, and that is what the runners are going to show up for on this weekend.
And there's some brilliant racing. We saw it last year. Gert and Irvet van Zyl going head-to-head. Both of them beat Frith van der Merwe's long-standing women's 56-kilometer record of 3 hours, 30 minutes and 36 seconds. Although, sadly, Irvet van Zyl, she only took the runners-up position. Gert, she says she's coming for a 4th title at the Two Oceans Marathon. Let's speak a little bit about the women's field in the 56 kilometers. As race organizers, you guys must be incredibly happy with the competitive field that you've managed to assemble.
Yes, yeah, we are extremely happy that all of our last year winners are back again this year, and all of them have that zeal and that energy and that want to not only win it, but to break the record again. So yes, so that bodes well for us as an organization, and it's good that that we, as you mentioned, COVID has changed things and to a point that put a damper on things in the beginning. But to have a record broken on the year that you return, and potentially having that record broken again this year, and with Gerda possibly with a fourth consecutive win for this year. So yes, that really makes us as the organizers feel well. We feel good about all of that. Yes.
Yeah, so in the 21 kilometer, the likes of previous winners Stephen Mokoka, Elrich Geland, as well as Precious Mashele have all confirmed that they are going to be in the race. Does that still stand? Are they going to be on the start line come Sunday?
Yes, they'll all be on the start line on Sunday. So the 21 is, like I said, getting up to that same level, to that same standard as the outer, and elevating the prominence of our half marathon. And I think there'll be some good competition in that one as well. And I think for this year, the finish rate is exactly the same as 2022. So the hiccups that some of the runners had with thinking that the finish rate was longer, we shouldn't have that. And so there should be a good chase for the end if those three run onto the field at the same time.
When it comes to the Two Oceans Marathon, there was always a little bit of a challenge between the ultra marathon and the 21 kilometer race, the half marathon, when they were run on the same day. Have you found that since last year, when you guys actually split the races over 2 days, that it was welcomed by a lot of the half marathoners?
Yes, it has been welcomed by the half marathons that event is now hosted on its own. I think in previous years, when it was hosted as the race before the ultra marathon, it did put some constraints on the runners and having to finish within a certain time, because you didn't want the ultra marathoners tripping over the back markers in the half marathon. So with them having the race on their own day, like I say, it changes things for them, and it highlights the race. So the half marathon, in my opinion, now stands out as a race on its own, as opposed to being an addition to an ultra event that is happening on the same day.
What about road closures? Doing any event in the city, especially a 56-kilometer race through some of the most iconic areas in the mother city, is going to come with its challenges. What about road closures and the support that the city is giving you to ensure that that goes according to plan for the almost 12,000 people that will be on the road?
Yeah, no, we've had immense support from the city, and we've got there will be lots of road closures through the city and on our routes, with our route going from the main road in Newlands through Fischhoek, then through Noordhoek over Chapman's Peak, where we have full road closure, through Hout Bay, over Constantia Neck, and then making its way back to UCT down Rhodes Drive and along the M3. So yes, the city has been extremely accommodating with us in allowing us to do this event on the Saturday, and also in accommodating us with the road closures that is required. With our event starting at, like I said, our event starts at the Alta starts at 5:10 in the morning. So we try as far as possible not to impact the city too much. But like I said, there will be some road closures which will affect the guys in the earlier parts of the morning. But again, a big thank you to the city for coming alongside us and assisting us to pull this event off.
So it's T-minus 19 hours. As race manager, what's your biggest concern?
My biggest concern, for me, it's about the runners and the runners' experience on the day. I think we've worked hard as a Two Oceans team with regard to logistics and making sure that everything is in place for the event tomorrow. And by and large, I think that is the case. So for me, it's a case of the runners and how they are going to enjoy the event on this weekend.
Lovely, sir. Thank you very much. That's Hilton Kearns, race manager for the Two Oceans Marathon. Thanks for chatting to us here on Newzroom Afrika.